So today's video is a little bit different than my usual videos because today I want to focus less on how changing your thoughts and behaviors will impact your life and more how by changing your thoughts and actions, you're actually going to impact the lives of the people around you, the people you love, and most notably, your children. Curious? Stay tuned. So a couple of things happened again recently that made me want to address this topic. And I want to talk about two aspects of, or two sides of the same coin, you could call it. And the way my desire to speak about this came about was that I was at the playground with my 6-year-old daughter and a couple of her friends, and they started calling themselves ugly in a game. And it quickly escalated. So it first started by one of them saying, "Oh, I'm ugly." And then the next one said, "No, I'm ugly." And the next one said, "No, I'm ugly and stupid." And that's when I stopped the game. And I said, "Hold on a second, girls, what are you doing?" And they were saying, "Oh, but we're only joking." And I said, "Yes, maybe you think you know this, but your beautiful growing brains have no idea that you're kidding." And that's the crucial part. And that still applies to us adults, but it's so much more important to teach this to your kids because their brains are currently exploding in growth. They are forming so many new brain cells and they're forming so many new connections that you need to nip this in the bud right away. I need to nip this in the bud of my daughter's behavior right away. So I started talking to them about it, and you can listen in, all right? So what I said was that if you say those hurtful and mean things to yourselves, your brain doesn't understand that you're kidding. It goes, so you think I'm ugly. You think I'm stupid. Let me help you to find proof. And ta-da, suddenly my children will see all these situations, all these things that they hear, all those things that are said to them in a different light, because their brain is going to highlight, look, I think what this person meant was that you are ugly. I think what this situation means is that you are stupid. And they will build up from this assumption, and it will become a belief. And beliefs are so difficult to get rid of. Yes. And it's a habit belief. Yeah. So it will become a habit for them to think, "Oh, I'm ugly. Oh, I'm stupid. So that's why this didn't work out. That's why I mustn't even try. This is why this is dangerous for me." You know? And here's something that I want you to know as an adult. Hurtful and diminishing self-talk has been identified as one of the key components to depression. And I will say this again, hurtful and diminishing self-talk has been identified as one of the key components to depression. And those studies were done in adults. So guess when these people learned to negatively self-talk? As children. So let's help ours and not let them wander down this dark and awful path. So what do? I've already told you step one, and that is to stop them, to address the topic with them, and to explain what I just explained to you. That when they are talking in a mean way to themselves, whether it's joking or whether it's serious, their brains won't know the difference. And they will start believing in what they're hearing from themselves. So tell them to stop it. And step two links into this one, and that is to actually make them independent of other people's opinions. Because if they rely on other people to tell them that they're beautiful, then they will become dependent on other people's opinions. So how can we stop that? Well, ask them. Tell them, do you think that you're ugly? Do you really think that you're ugly? Do you really think that you're stupid? Chances are your children are going to tell you no. I mean, my daughter always says that to me. And we then play a game about what her body, her physical form, the thing that she calls ugly in the game, is actually doing for her on a daily basis. We talk about her stunning eyes and the colors they can see and the beautiful animals that she can spot. We talk about her cute ears, who can hear those beautiful songs, and her vocal cords and her mouth and lips, who can sing so beautifully, and her hands that can clap, that can stroke, that can tickle, and her strong legs that can run and carry her places. So we talk about what the physical form actually does for us, how it's helping us, how our body is part of us that we should cherish and not just judge for the way it looks, because it has a function other than just being beautiful, right? And the same goes for stupid or, not being clever. So we talk about what she's already learned. Like, what did you learn this week? What can you do now that you weren't able to do last week? So we focus on growth. Of course, your 6-year-old isn't going to know the same amount of information that you do, or that an 8-year-old does, or that somebody in her class maybe already knows. So there is going to be differences in knowledge, but we're focusing on growth, yes? Because we're not going to say, well, this kid has a talent and you don't have this talent, so you will never reach his or her level. No, we'll say, all right, so this child actually spent more time practicing the violin, so she's better than you at this right now. But if you were to practice as much as she does, I'm sure you could be just as good or even get better. So we're always about growing. Okay, so that's step 1 and 2. And step 3 is about you, because I want you to monitor your own self-talk and the way that you're talking to yourself internally, and then check if you're maybe sometimes even saying those things out loud. Because let's face it, our kids don't do as we say, they do as we do. So if your child sees you frowning at your crow feet or pinching your love handles, being on a perpetual diet, saying, oh, I hate this, I hate that about me. They see that, they will copy you. So you need to stop this as much in you as you're trying to stop it in them. Because when it stops here, it stops there. And that brings me to the other thing that recently happened that made me want to talk about this topic. And this is something that happened on social media. I'm a member of a humorous Facebook group, and members share non-political, non-hurtful humor and, jokes, memes, that sort of stuff. And people stick to the rules. There's no political humor. Usually it's non-hurtful humor. But I've noticed that one particular type of jokes keeps coming through regardless. And that's something along the lines of, once you understand why a pizza, which is round, comes in a square package and is eaten in triangles, you will understand women. Or another one was a photograph of a restaurant's restroom doors, and the men's room just said blah, and the ladies' room said blah, 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 blah. So you get my point. Maybe they are quite funny. Maybe they aren't openly mean, but they're telling us two things. One is that we as women, we're too complicated. We're an enigma, and it's up to us to be more easily understood. But guess what? You don't owe anybody an explanation about anything, ever. You just do you, okay? And you please tell your daughters and your sons that that's just the way it is. And it applies both to men and women. But just as much as men think women may be difficult, women think the same about men, because that's another stereotype, that men are just so simple, and easily understood. And it's, why doesn't the woman do X? Because it's so easy. That's all the guy wants, Another, I'm just thinking about another joke. There was once two images of a man's pattern while shopping, and it's just into the store, to the trousers, back out to the tills, back out the door, and the woman goes, yes? So they're all stereotypes. Surely there's women who shop like that, but surely there's also men who shop like that. And there's probably also women, mostly moms, who just go into the shop, grab the first t-shirt, and then go back out. So don't oversimplify, and don't allow this type of humor around your children, because we're just reinforcing outdated, hurtful stereotypes. And maybe you're thinking, oh, we have another thing to fix now. We're all worried about getting rid of our unconscious biases and racism, and now you want us to worry about women as well? Yes, I do, because we can do several things at the same time. And by me saying that I want you to pay more attention to if you're allowing misogynistic humor around your children, doesn't mean that I think that anti-racism isn't important. Haha, they're both important. So that's your step 4. Don't allow hurtful humor, especially misogynistic humor, around your children, and I'm including the boys. I have one each, and I'm not allowing this for any of them. And I'm stopping them. If they're picking it up in school from friends, I will explain to them why it's not acceptable to use that kind of humor. So I hope I have convinced you to do the same. And now there's step 5. Limit your children's use of social media and monitor their use of social media. I mean, look at this. Where I picked this up from was in a private, invitation-only, non-hurtful, non-political humor group. And you need to know what your kids are looking at. And by social media, I'm including Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, WhatsApp, YouTube. Make sure you know what your children are watching, because their brains, again, are currently going through a huge growth spurt, and they're laying the roadmaps for their future, quite literally, in their brains. And if you would like to get some more background on this, I encourage you to watch The Social Dilemma on Netflix, which is a real eye-opener, because your kids and you as adults, we all are up against artificial intelligence that outsmarts our slowly evolving brains. Our brains are still living in the jungle, living on the plains. We're running from bears, we're running from panthers, and the AI the AI's only goal is to monetize our behavior and to influence our behavior. And if you think you as an adult can outsmart that, I think you may be mistaken. And if you think your kids can outsmart that, no way. So that's the end of my rant today. I hope I didn't scare you off. My name is Henrike Schmidt. I'm the whole brain coach, and I help my clients understand their brains and their biology better so they can get rid of any limiting assumptions they may have and reach currently unimaginable levels of success and happiness in their lives. So this is it from me today. I'll be back next Tuesday, 5 p.m. Central European time. Until then, stay safe, monitor your inner dialogue, because what changes here changes there. Take care. Bye.